I've been playing video games for as long as I can remember, but there's always been one game, a game that's hailed as a masterpiece, endlessly praised by fans that say, "That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!" And yet, I have never been able to get into it. I've owned Skyrim for over a decade, and every 6 months or so I scroll through my library, see that iconic title, and think, why haven't I played this properly? So, I launch it, I create my character, I start the intro, and everything seems so familiar. And then it hits me, wait, I've done this before. That's because I have, at least 5 different times. I always get through the opening sequence, I start to explore, and then nothing. I lose interest, I drop it, over and over and over again. But this time, I decided to break the cycle. I committed to finally playing Skyrim, and now after weeks immersed in its world and with the end of the main story in sight, I can confidently say Skyrim is one of the most incredible open world RPGs out there. But it didn't hook me on its own. Like many Bethesda games, it shows its age, clunky mechanics, outdated systems, and that's a big reason I think I and so many others struggle to get into it. And so if you've ever felt the same way, or if you just love this game and want to see how someone new to it finally learns to enjoy it for all it's worth, this video is for you. I'm going to share everything I did to finally enjoy and appreciate Skyrim. Skyrim is a game that in my opinion can only be appreciated when you give it your full attention. And so to give myself the best possible chance of actually enjoying and becoming fully immersed in its world, I removed anything that could distract me, which included all the other new shiny next-gen titles I had downloaded and ready to play. The temptation is just too much. It's like when you go to read a book. You might be able to finish a page or two, but then I need at least 5 minutes of doom scrolling before I can jump back in. However, if you remove the distractions, you remove the temptation, and after a while you really begin to appreciate it for what it is. Skyrim is 14 years old this year, and in many ways it shows. Combat is clunky, the NPC animations leave a lot to be desired, and putting it up against new next-gen titles is of course going to make it look even worse. But it's an unfair comparison and an incorrect one to make, and this was my issue for all my previous attempts at playing this game. I'd load it up, start the story, feel its age start to creep in, and in the back of my head I know that in literally 5 seconds I could quit this game and go play something that from a graphics and speed standpoint makes this game look like pure arse. But not this time. This time I cleared out my library, made Skyrim my sole adventure, and while that same feeling of discomfort initially comes back, they slowly begin to fade away as you realize just how detailed, unexpected, and surprising this world can be. Skyrim is an adventure game in its truest form, and the amount of content on offer is absolutely staggering. But it's not a game that can give you a quick dopamine fix the moment you load in. You need a little bit of time to pick up from where you left off and properly immerse yourself into the journey again, but if you stick around, you can easily end up sinking endless hours into this world. The most annoying thing for me was that this wonder and anticipation of what this world could offer came not long after the moment where I usually stopped playing. I'd escaped captivity, and this is where I would tend to give up. But I kept going, and after speaking to the Jarl of the town, I leave and find myself looking out across the town into the night, out to the mountains and up at the stars. And it was the first time I really got the sense of just how expansive this world was going to be. And despite its age, the world of Skyrim is still beautiful today. And one of my favorite things to do the whole time playing was whenever I found a new town or reached a great viewpoint was just to stop, look out to the world and think about what stories and adventures awaited me. And from here the game just never stops surprising me. You'll climb its highest mountains, traverse through its deepest dungeons, uncover areas steeped in magic and mystery, and come up against some of its most dangerous foes that will attack you from absolutely nowhere. And as you move from town to town, region to region, you will uncover stories of tragedy, greed, and hope across its world. But these stories will only be uncovered if you put the time in. For example, around 15 hours into my playthrough, I enter a village where I learn about a man whose wife and daughter died in a mysterious house fire. The townspeople suspect that the husband started the fire, but after investigating, we learn that it was actually started by a vampire called Movarth, who is located very close by to the town. We enter Movarth's lair, slay the master vampire, and this is how most standard RPG quests play out. But something else happens. While moving through Movarth's lair, I loot a chest containing an item called Meridia's beacon. I hear a voice.
A new hand touches the beacon.
This is the voice of Meridian, a Daedric prince of life, energy, and light, who commands you to bring her beacon to the temple on Mount Kilcreef. And so on a completely new adventure, we head off to her temple, find a statue towering over the landscape, and upon placing her beacon on the pedestal, we are lifted high up into the air and are commanded by Meridian to kill Malkoran, a powerful necromancer who has plagued her temple and is using it to raise the dead back to life. And so we move through Meridia's temple, eventually face off against Malkoran, which is a really challenging fight, and upon winning, Meridian rewards us with the Dawnbreaker, one of the coolest weapons in the game. This was a completely new story that I had never expected to experience, and only got to experience because I had committed to playing Skyrim properly this time. Meridia's beacon, I found out later, will only spawn in a random chest once you reach level 12, and so it's things like this that reward the player for exploration and for putting enough time in that you actually get to see some of its secrets come to life. My second piece of advice to really enjoy Skyrim is to get involved with the lore. There are over 300 books available to read in Skyrim, each one telling a rich story about the world, its history and its inhabitants, and while I certainly don't think you need to read them all, I can definitely say that the more you involve yourself with the lore of the world, the more invested you become, because now everything you do isn't just fulfilling a quest objective, your stories and actions are all grounded in context. Take the Black Star quest as an example. In this quest, you are told by a barkeeper at the Bannered Mare to make a trek to the Shrine of Azura, south of Winterhold. There, a priestess tells you that Azura, a powerful Daedric prince, has shown her a vision. Her artifact, Azura's star, has been corrupted by a mortal. You're sent to recover the broken star, and once you do, you're given a choice. You can return it to the priestess so Azura can restore it to its original pure form, or you can take it to Nelacar, a former College of Winterhold mage who offers to fix the star in a different way, turning it into the Black Star, a soul gem that can trap the souls of people instead of just animals. If you go into this quest without knowing the lore, it just feels like a simple choice between two rewards. One version of the star lets you trap animal souls, the other lets you trap human souls, which are stronger and better for enchanting. The priestess and Nelacar might seem like just two different NPCs with different opinions, and Azura might not seem very important, and so it becomes mostly a gameplay decision. Do you want a stronger soul gem or not? But if you've read some of the in-game books, the quest means a lot more. Books like Azura and the Box, and the Invocation of Azura, which you can find in places like the College of Winterhold or Dunmer temples, show that Azura is a respected Daedric prince who stands for fate, prophecy, and balance. Her artifact was never meant to use to trap human souls, only animals. Other books like the Black Arts on Trial or Souls Black and White explain that using a human soul is seen as dark magic, often linked to necromancy. Knowing this, Nelacar's offer becomes much more serious. He's not just offering you a better item, he's asking you to go against the purpose of this sacred artifact for your own gain. With the lore in mind, the Black Star becomes a quest about values, not just about rewards. It asks what kind of person you want your character to be, and how far you're willing to go for power. These kind of offerings to understand the world and its people in a much deeper way are on offer constantly, but so many players, including myself, initially choose to completely ignore them. We focus on things like combat, which as we all know is not where this game shines. This game shines in creating a world that feels alive, steeped in history and mystery, and the more you involve yourself with the lore, the more you will appreciate everything it has to offer. Another reason some people struggle to get into Skyrim is because it throws too much of you all at once. From the moment you leave Helgen, the world opens up with literally hundreds of possibilities. There are cities in every direction, faction quests, Daedric shrines, ancient ruins, dragons, side quests, random encounters, and the temptation is to try and do everything. And that's where a lot of players burn out. Instead of approaching Skyrim as a massive to-do list, try making things simpler. Choose one hold or one region of the map and forget about everything else. Pretend the rest of the world just doesn't exist yet. Just live in that one space for a little while. Let the game unfold at a human pace. For example, a great town to explore early on is Riverwood. It's the first settlement many players encounter after Helgen, and it serves as a perfect introduction to Skyrim's world. Riverwood is small and easy to navigate, but it has a surprising amount of depth. You can get involved in a simple love triangle quest, help defend the town by warning the Jarl of Whiterun, and meet key characters like Alvor the Blacksmith. Because it's closely tied to the main story but it still feels like a quiet village, it's a great place to learn the rhythm of Skyrim without getting overwhelmed. By sticking around Riverwood and getting to know the people and the terrain, new players can develop a real sense of place and purpose before branching out into the wider world. This approach makes Skyrim feel manageable. If you try to do everything at once, the scale of the game can feel paralyzing. You start hopping from one questline to another, never really digging into any of them. But if you ground yourself in one region, you start to understand its identity and it becomes memorable. That's something you can't do if you're fast traveling across the continent every 20 minutes. Try ignoring the main quest, at least at first. The Dragonborn storyline is iconic, sure, but it's also huge, and kicking it off too early can warp the game's pacing. Once dragons start to appear, the whole tone shifts. Eventually, sure, you should leave the region, you'll push onward, meet new people, follow new threads, but when you do, it'll feel earned and natural, like your story is expanding instead of sprawling out in every direction at once. And so if you've tried to enjoy Skyrim and felt overwhelmed or disconnected, scale it back, zoom in, pick a corner of the map and forget the rest of it exists for a while. The game won't punish you for it. In fact, it might just reward you with some of the richest, most personal experiences it has to offer. And so there you go guys, some of my top tips to enjoy this incredible game. I'm so happy that I finally went and played it properly, because once you immerse yourself in its world, it is super hard to let go. And so if you like this video, please drop a like and subscribe for more content like this in the future. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.